Om Tat Sat. My humble prostrations to the all-pervading Brahman, to my worshipful Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayanandaji Maharaj, to the Divine Mother, and to all sages and saints, and to each of you, divine soul, watching today's satsang. We are currently studying the Holy Scripture, Mysticism of Devi Mahatmaya, or worship of God as Mother. We are currently studying the uh, goddess as Durga aspect. Commentary of this scripture is by my Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayanandaji, narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. So let's get started. We are on part 2 of the mysticism aspect of goddess as Durga. So it must be further understood that an individual cannot destroy these impurities by force. They have to be led to a plane which is beyond the realms of the waters of the world process. So when the demons requested that they did not want to be killed in the water, Lord Vishnu had to come above the water to kill them, which means that we have to rise above the plane of the world process, which means this is the plane of the purified chitta. This is where our mind, which is represented by the thighs of Lord Vishnu, where the forces of darkness are destroyed by the shining rays of intuitive knowledge, the discus of Lord Vishnu. So that is the mystical meaning of why the demons are requesting not to be killed in the water. Without the function of Maya Shakti, Brahman cannot become the destroyer of Raga and Dvesha. So that's why the goddess has to come in, because she is the Maya, or the elusive force that awakens the God himself, which is Vishnu, the self. And without their destruction, an aspirant cannot progress on the spiritual path. So Raga and Dvesha, attachment and hatred, have to be destroyed. It is a mandatory requirement. So we cannot progress spiritually if we still have a lot of attachment to the world or a lot of hatred towards people, etc. So know that the journey is of internal purification also. Vishnu is the immutable self, and the goddess is the Maya Shakti, the power of cosmic illusion. Just as fire and heat, ice and coolness are inseparable, so too Brahman and Maya are inseparable. Just like the magician and his power, the flower and its fragrance, ice and its coolness, so Brahman and Maya Shakti. Just as fire cannot work without heat, in the same way Lord Vishnu cannot work without the goddess. That's why God, in the Sanatan Dharma philosophy, you may have also seen Lord Shiva on half a side and goddess Parvati on the other half. That's called the Ardhanarishwar Roop, which means that that's the Prakriti and the Purush aspect of Maya and God himself. Thus the importance of Maya Shakti is to be understood in all its clarity. So even though she is raising and creating the illusion aspect, just know that this world and existence is not possible without the force of Maya Shakti. By directing his devotion to Maya Shakti and by surrendering to her all encompassing presence, an aspirant learns the secret of spiritual progress. The very same power of delusion now becomes a liberating force, and the dark night shows her colorful aspect as she proceeds to the stage of golden dawn. So, after night will come dawn, which will be taken over by goddess Lakshmi. So even in the midst of the encircling gloom and confusion and despair, an aspirant is able to feel the presence of the goddess. And once his awareness develops, a unique joy surges in his heart. For behind her terrifying mask, he has seen the compassionate eyes of the mother. So the child is no more afraid. Just like in Halloween, initially the child may be scared, but once he knows it's his mother, he then the mask no longer scares him. The same thing happens to us. Behind that terrifying form of the goddess Durga is her motherly compassionate heart to help us. So to help us break our barriers of vices that we are struggling with. The destruction of Madhu and Kaitaba marks the piercing of Brahma Granthi. The knot of Brahma is located in the Manipura Chakra, in the Kundalini Shakti, it's in the navel region. When the impressions of Raga and Dvesha are destroyed, the spiritual aspirant is endowed with dispassion. So when that happens, this is a very big development, very wonderful development, where the world starts to fade away. You basically are enjoying your inner journey so much. This knot is also termed as karma granthi, or the knot of karma in the Vedantic scripture. So when that happens, the destruction of Madhu and Kaitava leads to the realization of Sat aspect or existence aspect of Brahman. At this stage, the Kundalini Shakti has pierced the Manipur chakra and is ready to proceed to the higher chakras. The chakras, as we have talked about before, Kundalini means the serpent power. Within our body, we have 3.5 coils of the snake power, or the feminine aspect, which is called the Shakti, at our reproductive area. A little above that, it's called the Mooladhara chakra. And then you have the Swadhisthana, the water element, then the fire Manipur chakra, and then the air, then the ether and Om, and so on. So the serpent power, once energized, comes up, and then on your Sahasrara chakra is Lord Shiva. So it's this journey then becomes the journey of Maya, Shakti connecting with Shiva. This in brief is the story of the goddess in the role of Mother Kali, who is also known as Durga Devi. May the goddess remove all obstacles from the path leading to self-realization and shower upon us her infinite blessings. So mantras for the propitiation of the Devi in her terrific aspect of Kali or Durga are Om Namah Chandikaye, Om Aim Hreem Kleem Chamundaye Vichye. Let's repeat. Om Namah Chandikaye, Om Aim Hreem Kleem Chamundaye Vichye. One more time. Om Namah Chandikaye, Om Aim Hreem Kleem Chamundaye Vichye. So these Sanskrit root letters are very powerful. So when you chant it with faith and devotion, you will see your energy centers within starting to vibrate and benefit you. This mantra suggests the following mystical meaning, the one we just chanted. It says, O goddess, you are the embodiment of existence, knowledge and bliss, absolute. Desirous of attaining knowledge of the absolute self, we meditate upon you. Adorations to you, O Chandika, who manifests as Mahakali, Mahalakshmi and Mahasaraswati. May you remove the fetters of ignorance and lead us to liberation. And the shorter mantra is Om Shri Durga Yai Namaha. Om Shri Durga Yai Namaha. Om Shri Durga Yai Namaha. So we will be starting tomorrow the verse on Goddess Lakshmi, Goddess Mahalakshmi. Om Tat Sat.